I was in front of the lockers with Daniel. Despite the early hour, the hallway was crowded, and while trying to open my locker, my eyes caught a poster. "Daniel, what's this?" I asked. Daniel read the poster. "We're going to sell cookies for the school's annual expenses. The students who sell the most cookies will win a Vespa scooter." I froze for a moment. A Vespa scooter? Daniel, we have to win that scooter. Daniel's eyes lit up. "We absolutely have to sell the most cookies, Alexander." Just then, Isabella and Olivia approached us. Isabella, with a smug expression, read the poster and then turned to me. "Don't dream about that Vespa, Alexander. It's going to be mine," she said. I stared at her. "Your father is one of the richest in town. He could buy you that scooter today if you want it." Isabella responded with a grin. "Yes, he could, but it will be a great pleasure for me to win the Vespa by selling more cookie boxes than you." Isabella and I locked eyes and glared at each other with clenched teeth. In the middle of the class, there was a knock on the door and the principal entered. He glanced around the room and turned to the students. "Dear students, I hope you read the posters we put up around the school," he said, showing the poster he held. "Thanks to our school's permanent benefactor, Miss Sylvia, we have a wonderful Vespa scooter prize for the student who sells the most cookie boxes this year." The whole class murmured with excitement. The principal, with an alert look, continued his speech. "You can get as many cookie boxes as you want from me. But remember, you must pay for the boxes you take," he said with a slightly sly smile. After school, I was walking with 2 cookie boxes I got from the principal's office. I was thinking about how I would sell the cookies and what I needed to do to win the Vespa. At that moment, Isabella stood before me, holding at least 10 cookie boxes. "Oh, Alexander, aren't those 2 boxes too much?" she said, laughing slyly. I gave her an angry look. "We'll see at the award ceremony," I said with determination. At dinner, I was with my mom and dad. I was constantly thinking about how I could sell more cookies. My dad suddenly turned to me and asked, "Alexander, are you okay, son?" I turned to him. "I'm fine, Dad. There's a new competition at school. The student who sells the most cookie boxes wins a wonderful Vespa scooter," I said. My mom smiled at me and said, "Alexander, that's great news. You must sell the most cookie boxes," she said. I looked down hopelessly and said, "You're right, Mom, but I don't know how to do it." Suddenly, I had an idea. I turned to my mom and dad and said, "What if I give you some of the cookie boxes I bought and you can help me sell them?" I said with a sly smile. My dad rolled his eyes and said, "Alexander, doing something like that would be cheating, and you can never win anything by cheating. In the end, you'll always be the loser." A week had passed, and I had only sold 4 cookie boxes. Daniel and I were sitting sadly in the classroom. Just then, Isabella and Olivia entered the classroom with great enthusiasm. Isabella confidently shouted, "That sale makes 30 boxes." Daniel, unable to believe what he had heard. "What? 30 boxes in just a week?" Isabella, with a mocking laugh, said, "I told you the Vespa scooter would be mine." Then she turned to me and asked, "Did you manage to sell those 2 boxes, or did you eat them by yourself?" she said, laughing. I clenched my teeth and looked down. I was walking hopelessly after school. My eyes caught a woman shouting on the street. She was holding a photo, collecting donations for her sick husband. People were occasionally giving money and continuing on their way. Suddenly, I had an idea. I could sell the cookies by saying my grandfather was sick. Using this excuse, I could sell the cookies to people. That evening, I found a photo of my grandfather, who had passed away 2 years ago, on my computer. I printed out a photo of him taken while he was in the hospital. Under the photo, I wrote, "Please support us for my grandfather's surgery." After school, I set up a charity stand on a busy street. I neatly arranged the cookie boxes and hung the posters. I had prepared everywhere. I had thought of every detail to attract people's attention. Throughout the day, people passing by, convinced by the posters, came and bought cookies from me. I sold a total of 20 cookie boxes that day. It was truly incredible. If I continued like this, I could surpass Isabella in no time. There was only 1 week left until the end of the charity event, and I was still behind Isabella's sales. On the chart in the school hallway, Isabella's name was shining at the top, with 125 boxes sold. I was in third place with 70 boxes. After school, I went to the principal's office with determined steps. I knocked on the school door and entered. "Principal, I need you to give me 200 cookie boxes," I said. The principal's eyes widened with surprise. "Alexander, that's a very high number. Are you sure you can sell that many boxes?" he asked. I looked into his eyes and said confidently, "Yes, Principal, I am sure I can sell them all." The principal raised his eyebrows and warned, "If you don't bring the money by the award ceremony, I'll have to ask your family to cover the cost. This is a fundraiser for the future of our school," he said. I nodded. "I understand, Principal. I will sell them all." Unfortunately, 3 more days had passed, and I had sold a total of 45 cookie boxes. My hopes were fading until a miracle happened on Friday. As usual, I had set up my charity stand at the corner after school. Suddenly, a large SUV stopped beside me, and a well-dressed elderly lady got out. She approached me and said, "Oh dear, are you collecting donations for your grandfather's surgery?" With a fake sad expression, I said, "Yes, ma'am. He's very sick, but my family couldn't gather the money for his surgery." The lady nodded. "How thoughtful of you. Your grandfather must be very proud of you. How many cookie boxes do you need to sell?" I paused for a moment. I had taken 200 boxes from the principal and sold only 45. There were 155 boxes left, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity. Taking a deep breath, I said, "I need to sell 400 boxes." The lady's eyes lit up. 400 boxes? I'll buy them all." In a shock, I said, "I currently only have 155 boxes with me, but I can bring the rest tomorrow." The lady smiled. "No need. You can sell the rest to someone else," she said, and got back into her car. Her driver approached me and politely handed me the payment for 400 cookie boxes. On the day of the award ceremony, all of the students gathered in the school theater hall. The principal took the stage and grabbed the microphone. "Welcome, everyone. First, I want to thank all of our students who put in great effort to help our school," he said. "Now I will announce the students who won this wonderful Vespa scooter. But to do so, I invite our school's permanent benefactor, Ms. Sylvia, to the stage." The hall echoed with applause. When Ms. Sylvia took the stage, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was the wealthy lady I had lied to and sold 400 cookie boxes to the day before. My heart started pounding rapidly, and my hands were sweating. Ms. Sylvia took the microphone and smiled. "The student who sold the most cookies is Alexander Jones from 10C, she said. I stood up, my heart pounding. I walked towards the stage with my head bowed. I didn't dare to look at Miss Sylvia. She approached me and softly said, "Alexander, lift your face so I can see you." Trembling, I raised my head. Miss Sylvia's eyes narrowed, and it was clear she understood what had happened. "I hope you managed to gather the money for your grandfather's surgery," she said insinuatingly. Words stuck in my throat, and I barely managed to say, "Yes, thanks to you." The principal took the microphone and intervened. "Wait a minute. Do you know each other?" he asked. Ms. Sylvia nodded. "Yes, I met Alexander yesterday while he was selling cookies. He told me he was raising money for his grandfather's surgery," she said, turning to me and narrowing her eyes. The principal's face darkened, his eyes filled with anger. He approached me and asked, "Alexander, how could you do this?" His voice filled with disappointment and anger. The hall fell silent, and everyone was looking at me. Shame and regret enveloped my entire being. With tears streaming down my cheeks, I took the microphone in shame. "I'm sorry, I'm a liar," I said, my voice trembling. I took one last look at the stage as if saying goodbye and ran off. That day, neither I nor the second place Isabella won the Vespa scooter. It was discovered that Isabella had also cheated by having her wealthy father buy all the cookie boxes. The scooter was given to an 11th grade student who had worked honestly and came in third. This outcome was a big lesson for everyone. After the award ceremony, filled with deep regret, I went to the principal's office. I knocked on the door and entered. The principal looked at me with a serious expression. "Sir, I'm very sorry for what I did," I said, my eyes filling with tears. "I want to help with the school's cleaning tasks after school to make up for my mistakes." The principal took a deep breath and looked at me. "I hope you truly understand your mistake, Alexander," he said, and then nodded. "Helping with the cleaning tasks after school could be a good way to start making amends. I had been helping with the school's cleaning tasks for 2 months. I had gotten used to the mocking looks and taunts from other students. I knew I truly deserved this punishment. One day after finishing my cleaning duties, I was leaving the school when a red Vespa stopped in front of me. I couldn't recognize the rider with the helmet on. When the rider took off the helmet, I couldn't believe my eyes. Standing before me was Miss Sylvia, the school's permanent benefactor. I looked down, unable to hide my shame. Miss Sylvia spoke kindly. "You don't need to be ashamed, Alexander. We make mistakes in life. What's important is to learn from them." Then, pointing to the shining red Vespa, she said, "This scooter is yours." I was speechless with excitement. Mine? I stammered. Miss Sylvia smiled. "Yes, yours. I learned from the principal that you had been voluntarily helping with the cleaning tasks after school. This shows how dedicated and determined you are. This scooter is now yours." Filled with shock and happiness, I thanked Miss Sylvia while learning one of the most important lessons of my life. By the way, you can support us by subscribing to the I Told My Story channel.